And we are live. Boom!
Boom.
Live.
Yes.
And hello, everybody. I am Nelson. And go ahead and introduce yourself there.
What's going on, everyone? For our intents and purposes, you can call me Skip.
Skip.
Yeah.
And look who decided to show up. Man, let's bring in the man, the myth, the legend, King Nerd himself. Level 10 nerd.
That's right. We're
Big
coming here,
Swerve.
bring you the nerdology, the geek knowledge to you, the people.
What's going on? All right, man. I for everybody who knows Big Swerve, I talked to him. I said, "Listen, man, we're gonna keep this level 1 and 2 nerd. This is nerd intro. So don't nerd out on me, man. We're gonna keep these answers
we're
and talking
keeping this,
points to about 2 minutes.
All right. So we're to keep it, nice and even, smooth.
Yeah.
But with that
Minimal.
being said, I'm here to learn.
he's look, man, he's downplaying himself. He's easily a level 4 nerd. Easily.
Although
I think I'm about a level 4.
I'll keep it nice and basic. Nothing too deep. This isn't going to be a Star Trek episode. We're not taking the tech.
That's a whole nother podcast.
We're not taking the tech here.
No. All right, guys.
So we're doing this for good old fashioned, Black History Month.
Black History.
Month, of course,
we're 1 week behind.
Yeah, we're about a week behind. Latin time.
I was gonna say, yeah.
All right. Tonight's episode is Black Superpower. We're gonna talk about the Black culture's contribution to comic books. In mainstream, pretty much it's Black Panther. That's it. You know what I'm saying? And we are here to educate you all that this has been going on for a while. The movement is strong, and it's just now making it the mainstream.
Yes.
And having said that, I'm gonna start with my favoriteest character of all time, Spawn. Just want to show off my collectible here.
Look at that.
Spawn number 1.
Spawn nice. Number 1. Look at that.
9.8.
Oh, look at this. That's a collection piece right there. For those that don't
prized
know,
possession.
And we'll be getting into this in a bit, but
you got 2 minutes, dog. 2 minutes.
Is Spawn, as far as Black superheroes go, was transformative. This is the character that put Black superheroes solidly into comic book form. That's not to say there weren't attempts before. Again, we'll be getting into that. There were attempts before, but Spawn is the one that broke the mold. Spawn got people that weren't into comic books into comic books.
Fuck yeah.
Todd McFarlane's amazing artwork. He became famous doing Spider-Man, all of that. Then he stepped on his own independent, came out with his own title, And from the very few first opening pages, he hooks you in.
Yeah, and
Artwork, writing, everything.
quick side note, and I'm not gonna try to nerd out here. Okay, we're gonna give this. We're gonna go here with it. Okay, Image Comics was the only competitor ever to or worth mentioning to DC and Marvel, and it was a collection of artists that just said, "Fuck this, we want the rights to our own shit," and they basically rewrote how artists and writers did comic books. So, quick shout out to Jim Lee, um, Todd McFarlane, all the pioneers.
Oh yeah, Will Spertatio. We can go on and on.
Yeah,
Whether you're talking about Scott
whew,
Campbell, Scott
that's as
Campbell.
far as the meter got. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, basically, if you want to sum it up, the most popular, the best artists, and the best talent that DC and Marvel at that time, all of them just went independent and said, we're going to start our own thing. It would be as if every star player on every football team, basketball team, name any sports team from the entire NBA, entire NFL decided we're going to get together and we're going to make our own league. And that's what happened with Image.
Whew, almost. Oh man. All right. So let's get back to the topic. Okay, so Spawn was the shit for me, dude, because there weren't a lot of anti-hero characters, and when there were, like Punisher, so on and so forth, um, that's why Punisher is a fan favorite. Wolverine. Whenever you get that anti-hero, I think a lot of people identify with that character, the Hulk. I think a lot of people identify with a character that's flawed, not perfect, like say Cyclops, or seemingly perfect, like Cyclops or Superman. They're like goody two shoes. It's like can't really relate to that. Spawn was the first to kind of just go way overboard. I mean, you know, it's basically a guy who makes a pact with the devil, and devil tricks him. So he is a hellspawn, but decides to use all this to go against the grain, so to speak. I don't want to give away too much.
To put it in layman's terms, Hell Spawn, Spawn, he starts off as he's a mercenary. He does bad things. Is a very bad man. The first issue, they don't
I
give
wasn't
you
trying
his
to give
name.
away too much, man. I'm hoping
That's okay. That's okay. There's omnibus, collector's volumes that people can catch up on. But just to give you a hint, he was a mercenary, ruthless, dirty player in the game. For the first few pages, you get the idea that he is dead. The whole series starts you off in the middle. He's already died. He's already been killed. He did terrible things. Along the way, he finally meets a woman, you know, the love of his life, and he decides to go straight. You get those hints kind of spread out. He decides to go straight. That's when he gets turned on and burned alive. So he comes back.
You're giving away way too much.
Hold on.
Whoa.
He's been in hell.
Meter's going up, man.
Yeah, just hold on. He's come back from hell. He's cursed. And Spawn just goes into this redemption story. That's what makes him such a great anti-hero. It's I'm a bad guy going good. All along with the curse.
He wasn't necessarily a bad guy. You know what I'm saying? It's just
Well, I want to speak to that a little bit because I'm going from memory, and my memory's skewed, as you can see. I partake in stuff over here, but to the point of him being a mercenary, can we confirm that? Because I guess the question would be, I think there is some significance to whether he was a soldier versus a sort of a hired or paid merc, in the sense of when you look at the Black community and you look how that could relate to sort of the story of the Black soldier that's actually transpired in our culture, right? You're going to fight these wars, you're going to do these dirty deeds, but ultimately you're never really accepted. This is never really your country per se.
Right. You're fighting for a country that doesn't respect you.
Right, exactly.
On a country that does not love you.
Exactly.
does not treat you as an equal. Well, that part was played into with him, being Spawn. That's where that part gets played into.
Mhm,
After all, he's doomed to become a soldier of hell.
mhm. Yeah.
So he's, that he starts off, like I said, he starts off as a merc. Let's not forget, it was um, he was betrayed by, by his own by his own team. They turned on him. I believe Chapel was the villain's name. It's a to the whole mercenary thing. If you really want to dive into Black history, this comes into where you had
Now
the
you're
segregated
nerding out,
units.
but I'm not. I'm not going to put the meter up
All right,
because that would be
all right,
disrespectful.
yo,
To this one
Because it's
point.
Black
yeah,
History
just one
Month.
more.
Right,
Yeah, this
right,
this is
right.
Black History
But
Month. So,
otherwise, you
Black
would get
History.
the fucking
um,
orange meter right now. But
our
please, I
with
digress.
yeah, all right. So let me go into this. Yeah, so for the longest time, when you talk about the segregated militaries, where they had black only units, just broken away, segregated units, they were often treated like just an extension, like a Merc extension. Whether you see our involvement in Hawaii, the Philippines, especially during the Spanish American War, you had all black units, just going over there, were being shipped by by the boatload all the way over to the Philippines to fight for the American Empire. Now we had chosen to become at that time white man's burden,
Yeah.
but with black man's work, and
Yeah.
so they were just exploited at that point. And unironically, sure enough, yeah, a lot of the black soldiers that went down to the Philippines, the first thing they said, look, you know, we're fighting to expand, an empire where we are treated horribly. And a lot of black units joined with the Philippines to try
Hey,
to maintain their independence.
and a lot stayed. And this
Hmm.
happened
Yep.
in Vietnam.
Yeah,
So
well, after after World War II, that's when they start desegregating the units. But yet, Spawn plays into a lot of that. He did, the character did a lot of, you know, really dirty work for really bad people.
Yep.
And that's basically what it is. He was being exploited. Not that he saw it that way at first. That's what he did. Is I'm a bad man. I'm awesome. I'm dirty. This mercenary work. And like I
but
said,
the,
he meets the love of his life.
that was
Go
also a
ahead.
sense of I did this for my country, so it's not evil, right? And
Well,
then
that's
suddenly
what
is the
he.
realization of like,
Yeah.
where am I? Oh shit, I'm in hell. How to get in hell? Like, you know what
That's
I'm saying? Like, I served my country.
well.
I have a
He
wife. I
did.
have a child. Like, he's all in
Yeah.
all, he's a good human being,
No, he
right?
starts off. He like any mercenary. You're going to start off serving your country. You're going to be former military, and he maintained that discipline um, as when he became a merc, when he was contracted, he maintained that discipline. So he wasn't a villain. He wasn't evil.
Right.
He was just a bad man.
Mhm.
That's the best way to put it. He wasn't evil. That wasn't his whole point. He wasn't psychotic. He wasn't the third kind in the service. They say there's three kinds of people that join the service. Some do it because they want a job. The second kind, they do it because they're to serve their country. And the third kind, which isn't as common, thank God, is someone who's looking for a legal way to kill people. And he wasn't the third kind. He was patriot, but he carried that when he became a merc. He carried that discipline with him. So of course, when you're working alongside guys like Chapel, uh, yeah,
Yeah, man. So, I mean, just to kind of wrap that up, he basically gets tricked by the devil to become a hellspawn. Tells him, that's the only way he's going to see his family again. And he comes back all decomposed. And years later, his daughter's big, his wife is remarried. so on and so forth. At this point, you're going to have to pick up the book and continue reading.
Yeah.
I definitely recommend it. It's fucking awesome as shit. First appearance, Spawn #1 was 1992. And from there, the Spawn movie came out in 1997. Sorry, you were going to say something?
No, I was going to throw in just to add a little bit to the drama of the story to sell it a bit more is like every superhero has a
What?
story. Hold on. Every superhero
We're going straight to
has a
yellow on
story.
this one,
Hold
bro.
on.
Wrap it up, man.
Every superhero has a story behind their costume. Spawn's costume is an armor that the more he uses the powers, the magic, and everything from it,
It's
the
almost like the
more
symbiote, like
yeah, the symbiote thing,
Spider-Man
but
symbiote.
but
Okay.
with magic, all that stuff. But the more he uses it, the more it will curse him into becoming a loyal soldier of hell.
All right.
Fair
You
enough.
almost got orange.
Yeah, it's catch 22.
So then 1997, the Spawn movie came out. Sucked. Stay away from it.
Trash.
It's horrible. John Leguizamo as a fat villain. It's like, dude, just it's really bad. Now the one thing I could say about the movie that I enjoyed was Michael Jai White.
Yeah, see, Michael
Fucking
Jai White did a very good,
awesome. I
very.
tried.
Go
I
ahead.
tried to find a picture that I took with Michael Jai White for the early release of Black Dynamite, which I also suggest. I mean, nerd, maybe kind of a nerd movie, but totally awesome. Check it out, Black Dynamite. So anyway, we went to the premiere, and at the end they announced that he's there, and I'm fucking fanboy, dude. Like, oh my god, he's here. So I go up to the stage, I get my little poster, and I'm waiting. And dude, I was totally a fanboy, dude. This man was carrying on a whole conversation about like all the new projects he's on. And dude, it's like totally artsy conversation. And then it's my turn to go up, and I come up, interrupt him, and I go, "Are you ever gonna do a Spawn 2?" He's like, just signs my shit. He's like, "Man, just go." And I give my phone to my wife. I say, "Take a picture." She's horrible at taking pictures. So I have this blurry ass picture of me and Michael Jai White, and it's just ruined. But anyway, he is a dope motherfucker.
Yeah, then his performance. The thing I like about Michael Jai White, whether you agree or disagree, is to his enthusiasm comes through in all his projects.
Yeah, man.
I would say his penultimate movie is definitely Black Dynamite. I mean, what better way to parody the whole blaxploitation film scene than to make an actual blaxploitation movie?
You know what's interesting about that? A girl like got up at the end and was complaining about the misogyny in the movie, and it was like,
blaxploitation film.
Blaxploitation, lady. Like, what the fuck?
Did you not know where you were coming?
Right, exactly. Why are you here? Like, do you not know what this movie's about?
Well,
Black Dynamite. If you don't understand the sexual innuendo there, like,
yeah, it's it. And by the way, if we're gonna go ahead and throw a monkey wrench at the virtual signaling of that, that individual, there was a lot of really racist overtones in that blaxploitation movie in Black Dynamite. So she's complaining about all the misogyny in there. Well, yeah. Well, what about the racism?
Well, she was more concerned with the misogyny.
Yeah, exactly. Virtue signaling.
Willing to overlook other things.
Yeah,
the obvious.
And quick shout out to Michael Jai White. Also in the nerd realm, he was the one of the villains in the meeting of the of all the kingpins when they meet with Joker.
Yes,
I forgot where they were at.
The Dark Knight. It's the Dark Knight. It's right where Heath Ledger's Joker walks in on the scene, and he plays, I believe, Little Benny. And on that one, yeah, he's the one who says, $1 million for this clown.
Mhm.
Dead. Too if he's alive.
Michael Jai White.
There he
Yeah.
is. There he is.
So then
Um,
after that, Spawn reemerged in the animated series in 1998. Fucking awesome. I believe it was HBO.
HBO. HBO.
Fucking epic, dude. Fucking
Excellent job.
epic. I mean, right up there with Batman animated series. I would put it up there. I mean, just damn near flawless, dude.
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
the
Very,
artwork was beautiful.
the animation was high quality,
Sharp.
and this is the one you could tell McFarlane put his hands on this.
Right.
He was involved, heavily involved.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the story stayed true to the comic, including the first villain. And this is what I liked about the Spawn comics. Um,
Mm-hmm.
just as it again, this is how people who didn't read comics got into it. The first villain isn't a supervillain. The first villain's a child, murdering psychopath. It's a very dark, uncomfortable subject. But there it was
Most
on that
most
comic book.
most the novels of Spawn were that way. They
Yeah,
touched on really fucked up subjects.
yeah, and
I mean, honestly, like when we talk about good and evil, I mean, they really portrayed evil as evil,
oh yeah,
not
Yeah.
like
definitely.
some kind of bad guy.
There was
No,
there
it
was
was
there was
fucking
there was
evil.
no sugarcoating,
Yeah.
evil in Spawn.
Um. Also, I want to say that Spawn in the animated series was voiced by Keith David. That's the dude from Pitch Black and Chronicles of Riddick.
Hmm.
He
So
plays the
Yeah.
shout out to him.
he plays the
He
Muslim
plays the
cleric.
stepdad in There's Something About Mary. So
Yeah.
Yes.
to put an image with the voice,
How'd you get the
that's his
beads above the
iconic role.
Frank?
Yeah. But how did you get the beans above the Frank?
Yeah.
Um
He's done great work throughout movies, whether he's playing supporting roles,
yeah.
Platoon,
Yes, Platoon.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dope.
He was young. All right, so
Dope.
let's wrap up Spawn. I'm sorry, were you gonna say something there? Skip.
Nope.
All right, so we got like 20 other fucking heroes to get to, but just to point out how fucking awesome Spawn is, we're 20 minutes in, and that's what we dedicated most of the time to, because he's fucking awesome. I'm telling you,
on
pick it
the
up. You won't regret it. That is an
yeah.
amazing comic book.
Yeah,
Um,
the hook on that one is, and I remember reading number one, is he comes out, he's all dying, and he can change shape. That's the first thing he realizes. So he goes over, he removes that burnt, corpse like body,
yeah,
and there he is, some regular old, pasty white guy. And so, sure enough, he sees himself in the mirror and he screams out loud, "But I'm a black man!" And right there, yeah, things are about to get really, really terrible for this guy. But that scene right there hooked me. Right
yeah.
there. It's like,
It
okay,
was
wow.
it was amazing writing. I mean,
Yeah,
he
the
had
writing.
written that all along, right? But
Yep.
he, didn't want to. He understood that it would have got signed over to Marvel and so on and so forth. So it was
Yeah.
his baby. He wanted to hold on to it.
It's built an
But
empire for him. McFarlane Toys. Anyone? Yeah.
they're amazing also if you collect statues. Um, but I want to say that one of the most amazing things I've heard as an adult is that there is a Spawn movie in the works, set to be
Yeah.
released 2022.
Mhm.
Maybe coronavirus is gonna fuck with that. Jamie Foxx will be the you know what, dude? I forget that I have images for like all this shit. Um
Well,
so
Jamie
this is
Foxx is going to be
this is
Spawn.
Todd McFarlane, by the way. And Jamie Foxx is supposed to be supposed to be the Spawn.
Yeah. Look at that. Ah,
Also Jeremy Renner and
he's going to be Twitch.
Bloomhouse is gonna do the production for this movie. Those of you who don't know who Blumhouse is, they are responsible for Get Out,
Yeah.
Insidious, Paranormal Activity, Sinister, and Purge. So it will be epic as fuck. Um, you know, I was a little iffy with Jamie Foxx, but I heard a little bit about the storyline. So Todd McFarlane wants to do a horror film about Spawn. So it's
That's
not
essentially there's a lot of
it's
horror
not your
elements in it.
comic book. It's not your comic book movie. It's not your
Hmm.
Spider-Man movie, which I appreciate because if you look at the long history of movies where it's not necessarily a comic movie, where they just do a movie and that has these characters, they've done really well. When you look at Logan, um, that's a western. It's a fucking western drama. Um, they didn't go overboard with everything. So
Yeah, that was a magnum opus right there. Logan. Yeah.
fucking amazing. So I think
Amazing movie.
that they're starting to realize that you can do comic, or I should say graphic novel movies, that it doesn't have to be for children, and it doesn't have to be sort of this slapstick comic book style.
Yeah,
That you can get creative with it. You can do comedy in the way that Guardians of the Galaxy did it.
or
Shout out.
Deadpool.
Deadpool. Yeah, you can have a drama. You can have comedy about these characters. It doesn't have to be a straightforward comic movie.
Yeah,
So
so
I'm looking
for
forward to
those who are film geeks, a lot of times you'll have movies that are based off of graphic novels, but the production companies can never use that as a selling point. Perfect example: Road to Perdition with Tom Hanks.
Teddy also was. He says the HBO animated Spawn series was amazing.
That
Yes, it
certainly
was,
was.
sir.
Yes, it was. It set a standard for what you do with animation as far as superheroes goes.
Fuck
But
yeah.
yeah, Road to Perdition was a graphic novel slash comic book. It
Right.
starred Tom
Well, a lot of
Hanks.
people don't realize that Walking Dead was a
Yeah, Walking Dead
graphic novel.
graphic novel series. It was a comic book.
So speaking of Walking Dead, um, Michonne,
Michonne.
black character, fucking badass. Not a superhero, but fucking badass. Dude.
Close.
Yeah.
Trying to find her image.
Well, I mean, to bring it all in and why it's very important that we're bringing up Spawn, we're bringing up all the black superheroes. There she is.
If you have not, if you like this show, definitely pick up the Walking Dead graphic novel. You will not be disappointed. I swear to God, it's 100 times better than the show. And I'm not trying to be a book snob.
Yes. If you like the show, you're gonna love the graphic novel.
It's amazing. And it's not like if you saw the show, it's going to give away the graphic novel. They were very different.
Yeah. Well, like I said, in celebrating, in celebrating Black History Month, this is where it comes in. Just if I may just throw in an overall, Black culture has been one of the most defining elements of American culture, period.
Yes.
The Black influence in American culture is not merely just disproportionate in terms of them being a minority group and minority population, but overwhelmingly, we owe so much in terms of our culture, our language, pop, music,
Jazz, rock,
sports,
rap,
everything. I mean, going all the way back, to the Harlem Renaissance, you name it, all of that it is due to Black culture, our food.
Yeah, I was about to say that, man. I didn't want to sound stereotypical, but listen to me. No one can barbecue better than Black folk. Get that shit straight.
Well, it isn't just that. I mean, just everything. You can't separate Southern food or Southern cuisine from the Black experience. You can't. You want to see what American food was like before, uh, before Black people did anything to it. It was bland. Imagine apple
It
pie
was
without
European.
any of the
It was
cinnamon
English food.
spices. It was English food.
Mhm.
And watch a Dennis Leary comedy. He'll tell you all about Irish food, English food, and how god awful it was. It's meat just boiled in water 5,000 times.
Yeah, shepherd's pie ain't too bad.
Yeah, it ain't too bad, but it wasn't all that great either. But that's it. It was very bland, and so when they gave what they could, uh, when they gave it to slaves who had to cook for their masters or slave owners, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, they added the spices, they added all that stuff, most of which were from African civilization, African civilizations that often traded with the East.
Factoid.
Yep.
Factoid. Okay. Uh, Barbecuing methods were perfected by blacks.
Yeah.
And so much so that white people would have it imported uh, from the South to eat it. And a
Yes.
large, I swear to God, this is all real shit, dog. Like black people weren't allowed to own restaurants and have businesses. So basically white businesses became a front and they would bring in barbecue from the back. Like literally like fucking moonshine, dude. Because people were going crazy over barbecue. And a lot of rich, older white people loved like black style barbecue because it would fall off the bone because they were old and had no teeth. Factoid. Real shit. Look it up.
Yeah, fair
Yeah.
enough.
Real shit.
Yep.
Now it's just what I heard. Like people like George Washington, like fucking like really important people had this shit like brought up. Swear to
Yeah.
God. True
Yeah.
story.
Well, I'm not going to get into the cruelty of George Washington, the slave owner. And there's a
Yeah.
reason why certain
That's a
myths
whole
about
nother
him.
show.
Yeah. There's a reason why certain myths about him having wooden dentures. Well, yeah, that story got spread to cover for something else. But yeah, that's definitely for another show.
All right. That
Okay.
sounds intriguing, but
Right, right.
that would get us quickly up to level orange on the nerd meter. All right, let's move on. Black Panther, the most obvious, and salute to Chadwick, man. That's
Yes.
Yeah, Chadwick
fucking
Boseman. Good.
horrible what happened. But you can see it
Cancer, you
coming
suck.
in a few images. He was definitely I was worried, man. When I saw the pictures, I was like, fuck. Well, I was hoping it was for a role, and then you get the news and it was fucked up. So Black Panther came out in 2018, and it was dope. Black Panther. Um,
Now, mind you, you can see Black Panther's evolution throughout the years. When he was first introduced into Marvel, he was actually Marvel's attempt at an answer to Batman. Yeah, perfect example right there. Yeah, they needed a Batman dominated the comic book scenes in for quite some time, and there they are, serving him down, take away the cape, and of course the awesomeness that is today. All the more African motifs with the claw necklace, a much sleeker look, and again, Bozeman. Wow. Most people, the internet can be really toxic, and everyone was
yes,
complaining about Chadwick Boseman having being so thin when he got in there. The man was fighting
yeah, man.
cancer
During filming,
during the filming of 4 movies.
yeah. I think I can't speak for the man, but I think he understood the importance of that character in this time.
Oh yes. Uh,
You
d-
know,
d-
people like to dismiss art a lot, whether it's a movie, a song, comic book, especially comic books. Nobody takes comic books seriously, but it is art, and even the writing for it is art. But going back in history, art has changed the world, man. It fights wars. It starts revolutions.
Yep.
So he is an artist, and I think he did see the importance of
yes.
that role.
Yes, he did.
Definitely.
The movie's very, very well done. Again, the actors, the from top to bottom, every actor does their part very well. It's just credit where credit is due. Black Panther was a well-made movie. Again, I can't
And
say enough.
powerful.
Chadwick Boseman. What a tragic loss.
Yeah, Michael B. Jordan also,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, Michael B.
He
Jordan.
killed it.
Awesome.
Yep.
I
The
would I would actually go out and say, sympathy aside, Michael B. Jordan was the star of that movie. I mean, he
Yeah,
did his portrayal of Killmonger was probably the definitive moment in his career, which is a pretty good career. But
right.
before he's Apollo Creed, before he's fucking
Yeah,
anyone, he's Killmonger.
yeah,
Oh
man.
yeah, I loved him in Creed. Creed. I mean, you want to talk about like taking, you want to talk about like handing, like passing the torch.
Yeah,
Um,
That was a passing of the torch. The first movie Creed, I came out of there was saying, when's part two coming out?
yep,
yeah,
yep.
yeah. It was
You
it
know,
was that it was amazing.
well done, yeah. But him as Killmonger, and by the way, yes, all sympathy aside, yes, that was the defining role of that film.
Sure, man.
Killmonger,
No,
he stole the show basically.
the acting skills for that role was amazing. I mean, this dude really captured the frustration and
Yes.
anger of young black youth at feeling a sense of abandonment. I mean,
Yeah, how
that
somehow
motherfucker
civilization,
captured it, dude.
yes, civilization was abandoning them, and that was his anger at Wakanda
Mhm.
because Wakanda wanted to stay hidden. They
Right.
didn't want to involve themselves, knowing that around the world, blacks, even other minority groups, were just simply just exploited. They were the exploitable permanent underclass.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, the I think the movie definitely touched on how complex that issue
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. Excellent
All
job.
right.
What was his name?
Absolutely.
Ryan Coogler. I mean, we talked about the actors, but you know, I think the way the movie was put together, from the costumes to the music to the sounds, it was just an excellent piece of work. It was
No, I was.
inspiring.
Absolutely.
It was beautiful to see, actually. So
It was beautiful to see, and he made it believable.
he made it believe.
He made it believable. The whole, that's one of the harder things you see in films, especially in comic book films. This is a hard thing to pull off. The idea of a world within a world.
Mhm.
You could take Marvel's Manhattan, where that city is like 10 times larger than it actually is in real life, but you're not going to notice that they're making it that much larger. Um, but if you look at, again, Black Panther, you look at other films, like one film I will bring up, Asian director, Aquaman. That was another one. Now, I'm not gonna say it was the most amazing film, but the director did an incredible job with uh, breathing to life this world within a world.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I mean,
that,
dude, Wakanda, like, I felt like I could visit Wakanda. Like,
yes,
that shit
it's,
felt like a place.
Mhm.
yeah, and all the different characters, all the different kingdoms that were involved. I mean, he really did a good job of fleshing that
Yeah,
out,
man.
playing really well to the whole idea of don't tell me, show me. That's a
Mhm.
hard thing to pull.
Yeah, man.
That's a difficult thing to pull, and he did a brilliant work because most of what you know about Wakanda wasn't actually told to you. You see it. You
Mhm.
see how they live. You see how it's like to the outside world, they're just a farming community, well off. They have some good resources, but that's but that's the impression they give. And when you go into Wakanda, it's advanced civilization, but
Yeah,
the traditions, the African
even
traditions,
then,
held strong.
I think that was a message in itself, right? Is that um that like that's a better way of living. Like
Yeah.
even Wakanda, they were still tied in with nature. It wasn't like a New York City. It wasn't like a metropolis or anything like that when you see in other comics.
They built a harmony with their environment.
Right. And
Yeah.
I think that speaks volumes. I think there was definitely a deeper message there. But anyway, man, rest in
To
peace,
that
Jack.
point too, though, I heard rumors of Disney Plus, a Wakanda series. You
Yeah,
guys heard
it's
about
coming.
this?
Yeah, it's coming.
Disney's killing it, dude.
Yeah,
Disney is killing it
Disney.
right
Disney's
now.
killing it.
Yeah.
Disney figured it out, dude. They
Disney
fucking
is killing
figured it out. They're like, oh, people don't want movies. They want series.
it.
They
Yeah.
want more of something in
Yeah.
smaller segments. They figured it the fuck out, dude. We want to nerd out on all the fucking little details of something. Just
Yeah.
keep it coming. I'll keep
There's
watching it. Here's my money.
there's a how can I say this? Whenever again, this is the whole thing with the idea of a universe. It's got to be beyond just the movies. There's so much to pack in that you end up sometimes getting caught up in delivering a summary rather than the whole expose. And on really great characters, you want the expose. You want
Yeah.
all the
And
details.
but I mean, I think that this changes the dynamic of movies and series, right?
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
there's almost like a symbiosis here. It's like the movie is the mainstream. It's like, hey, check out this awesome movie. Okay. And then all the nerds can nerd out on Mandalorian. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
We
and
want to know more,
yeah, we want to know more. We want to
but
see
not
more.
everybody does. You know what
Not
I mean?
everyone does, but there's enough of an audience there where you can build. Again, I think for people that are not into Star Wars will enjoy The Mandalorian. It's a
Agreed.
solid
Yeah.
Western.
Yeah.
And
But
for the
and
for
that
the
goes
comic
back.
book fan, for the comic book fans,
Mhm.
yes, it's Lone Wolf and Cub.
Hmm.
It's
Love it.
Lone Wolf and Cub. Yeah,
Love it.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
and that's the point I was saying earlier. Like it doesn't have to be a comic book movie or a show. Like it can totally just be a drama or a western or a sci-fi or you know what I mean? Like I don't know.
Well,
I mean,
it's just where cable has become bigger than the theaters.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's not
the
cable,
street.
man. You're
No,
showing
well,
your age, dude.
sorry, streaming services. They're
This
bigger.
motherfucker said cable.
Same
Shit.
difference. Same difference. Yeah, there's an old one. Yeah, same difference.
I know I don't want to switch us up too much, but I'm curious though because I know when you talked about the list of kind of folks you mentioned Nick Fury,
Yeah.
and was Nick Fury white and then made black
Yes.
for the movies?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So here it comes. Here it
Yes.
comes.
But it was worth mentioning.
No, allow me.
Hey,
Allow me to-
Samuel L. Jackson is awesome as fuck.
Yeah, he
And
is.
technically, he was black for the movie. So
Well, to
and
explain that
and,
there's
he
a little
was not a
detail.
superhero.
He
There's
wasn't okay, fair.
But I don't
there's a
give a
little
fuck.
there's a little nuance here. There's a little
Yes.
nuance here. I'm gonna go in. Get ready to put out the nerd alarms. I'm going deep into this one because it
Oh,
has to
fuck.
be said.
Hey,
It has to be
wrap it
said.
up.
Please
Wrap it up.
educate us.
All right.
Educate us.
So yes, Nick Fury.
Oh, we're 44
white.
minutes in, my dude.
Hold on.
Jesus Christ.
All right. So Nick Fury started off white in the Ultimate Marvel universe. That's where you have that's where you have this alternate
Bruh.
universe for Marvel. The artists and the artists that were behind it, the writers that were behind it, made Nick Fury black, and they based him off of Samuel L. Jackson.
Hmm.
So when Disney was going to start making the Marvel movies, or Paramount in this case, when they started making them, they were the Marvel directors were saying, White Nick Fury's boring, but Samuel Jackson Nick Fury, he's great. He's great. And of course, since he's based off of Samuel, let's just get him.
Yeah.
And the rest is movie history.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you for
They
respecting the
chose
time,
wisely.
Senator.
Yes.
All right, man. Let's move on. Rest in peace, Chadwick. All right, so we got Nick Fury, and our next one was Blade. Fucking awesome. For those of you that saw the film, it is also a graphic novel. That is where it started. So, if you like the movie, check out the graphic novel. Blade came out in 1998. Was the first movie starring Wesley Snipes.
The first movie was very well done. I like that first movie.
It was beautiful.
The opening fight sequence just blew me out of the water. That whole club fight sequence was just incredible.
The feel of the movie was just great.
It was spot on.
It was dark enough, but it had this weird techno vibe to it. Even the vampires were like sci-fi. Like they had, it was like weird. It had like a high-tech layer.
Yeah, it had high-tech layers. They were playing to the idea of the modern vampire. You go back to films like The Lost Boys, which gave us the modern vampire. So
speaking
with
of
Blade,
Lost
they
Boys,
took it a bit further.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Lost Boys. No, that was it.
Yeah, so shout out to Lost Boys, for those who like vampire flicks. But yeah, the first Blade is one could skip the sequels, forget the sequels, but that first Blade movie just hit it out of the park. And that's where you can see the inkling where Hollywood say, wow, we can really start taking this whole superhero thing really far. Because that was when they started getting loyal to the source material. That was where it really started. It mattered that you made a good movie. You didn't have to do a copy and paste out of the comic books, but you could, just write out a movie, put in the characters, stay true
and you
to
didn't
the
have to dumb it down.
You didn't have to dumb it down.
Yeah, all you need is a couple explosions, some fight scenes for the kids. You know what I'm saying? But the rest of it, man, respect the audience. You know what I mean?
How good were the fight scenes?
Amazing.
How good were the fight scenes in Blade? Well, let me put it this way. It came out shortly after The Matrix, which at that point had blown everyone away with the whole wire fu, the whole classic kung fu fight scenes. And then comes in Blade, and that opening scene blew away anything you saw in The Matrix as far as fight scenes were. The choreography was untouchable.
Yeah,
it's
fucking amazing.
Wesley Snipes, it's been my favorite role of his ever. That was his best role.
Not too Wong Fu?
Julie Moore.
Hey, listen, man. There's rumors that not rumors, but the Blade, the Vampire Slayer is coming out.
Yes.
Mahershala Ali. He was in House of Cards. Say what?
He's gonna kill it.
Yeah, dog.
Wise choice.
I don't know if they were purposely going for somebody that looked like Wesley Snipes, but Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ.
He is a great man. If you like detective stories, he's in the season 3 of HBO's True Detective. Puts on a fucking acting clinic. Puts on a fucking acting clinic.
What was that movie? Moonlight?
Yeah.
Oh, that was powerful, man. He fucking killed it in that too.
Yeah, one man show. Definitely an actor's actor.
And the writer to that is the writer for Watchmen. and
Ah,
the movie
Good.
is a possible release date of 2022.
yeah.
Watchmen. Um,
Did
Nothing
Regina?
to do with Black History, but check it out. It's awesome.
Well, it actually. I mean, Regina King is
Mhm.
the main character of the HBO series. Now I
Okay.
know the
Yes.
comics were different and the movies were different, but on the HBO series, which actually took a very different spin from what I remember of the movie, it was
Uh,
actually really good.
it it,
It made-
it was more in depth. It touched
Mhm.
on more of the world.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
On a
Again, small screen,
amazing.
get finer
amazing.
details.
I
Very
fuck with
well
it.
done. Oh yeah,
I think they
definitely.
held the feel of not only
Yeah,
the graphic novel but of the movie. Um, I talk to people all the time, man. Watchmen is one of those movies where it's you either love it or you hate it. There is no gray. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
Yeah.
And I happen to be in the category of I fucking love it. I mean,
loved it.
No,
it is
I liked
it's
it.
so
I loved the
profound.
movie. It was profound, and that dark ending. I mean, wow. I mean,
Dog,
the price of peace, the price of
dude.
peace.
Yeah. No, you're right, man. I don't give it away, but even
No, no,
just even Dr. Manhattan, man, when he
Awesome.
goes to Mars. That's honestly my favorite line of the whole fucking movie. He says he just decides to be by himself, away from humans, and he says, "I'm tired of getting tangled in their webs." And it was just
yeah,
like, or the webs of their lives. And it was like, fuck, dude, you like all of us wish we were immortal and had all the knowledge in all the world. And here's this character who has it, and he wants nothing to do with humans. It's like, fuck, that's the
Wow.
fucking price to pay to be that intelligent. Is you can't relate to anybody. That fucking
yeah.
sucks. So,
And you saw his
kind of
humanity slip
reminds me of
away.
nerds, to be honest with you.
Can't
Right? You
relate
just
to
end up
people.
becoming a fucking hermit, but that's why, man. You want to nerd out on shit, and everybody's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Well, it's just we get passionate about our about the things we get into.
Yeah,
Sometimes really deep into it.
I know. Hence the nerd
It
meter.
becomes this identity.
All
This
right,
part of
man.
your
Let's
identity.
let's keep this going, man. We got 8 minutes left, my dude. All
Mhm.
right, we got Storm.
Yes.
First appearance, giant size X-Men #1, May 1975. She was later in the X-Men films, or I'm sorry, later she comes out in X-Men films, played by Holly Berry, the beautiful
The
Holly Berry.
beautiful Halle Berry.
Mhm.
Hey, shout out Holly Berry. Check her out in Monster Ball.
Oh
She'll
wow,
thank
yeah.
me later.
Um,
That's a dark movie.
I love it. I love dark movies. What was that, Skip?
well, I was saying definitely the Monsters Ball, but when I think about Storm, she was. I think what was prolific about Storm, one, she was beautiful, right? She was a beautiful
Yes.
African woman.
Mhm.
Um, but what was I think more prolific was it was almost like fuck what you heard. In the reality of realities, she was almost the most powerful player at the table,
Oh,
right?
without a doubt.
Her
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
powers and what she could do was so amazing. It was almost unparalleled. You had maybe Magneto, you had some people that could do
Yeah.
the things, but the way she wielded her power with such grace and the comic book character I mean, it was
Oh hell
awesome,
yeah.
man. And
Oh, she
Yeah, man.
it was a testament to the black woman. Her
yes.
whole being. Yeah.
Right.
And this is where it comes in. You look at the early versions of Blade and other comic book heroes. Remember, these were coming out of the black exploitation era.
Mhm.
So comic books, for the large part of early comic books, blacks were largely left out of it. They didn't try to characterize them or be racial like Hollywood was back in the day. The Jazz Singer, anyone? Birth of a Nation. Yeah, if you got the stomach to watch that, yeah. Yeah. So, they were largely left out of it. But there were moments with Storm, again, going into the 70s, just brought her in, wasn't exploitation, gave us the strong black female lead. She carried herself in a regal manner. Complex character. She wasn't written to be cheesy. But she was fantastic. Yeah, definitely one of the most powerful members of the X-Men. I mean, they decided, we're going to have a powerful member of the X-Men. We're going to have someone who, if the X-Men were fighting Magneto, all of them, one guy tries to blast him, Wolverine try to claw him, and instead she'll take him and, just suck him up into a hurricane, a goddamn hurricane.
Yeah, man.
That was Storm.
She was badass, dude.
By the way, nerd fact, yes, T'Challa, Black Panther, chooses.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, but
to be his queen.
Got 5 minutes left, so.
Yeah, that doesn't say badass.
I think we're gonna have to go like 2 hours here. Anyway, but that's Storm. I was gonna pull up one of her earlier pictures. I forgot to pull up Blade. I'm so bad at this.
Dope.
Yep.
I gotta get better at this.
Of course, you'll see the earlier versions of Blade. He looked like he was a reject from Kid and Play. He had the square. He had the big old the square.
He still had it in the movie. I mean, it looked cooler.
Oh no, it looked a lot cooler, but it wasn't that as bad as it. Wow, I was like looking at the old Blade.
All right, look, we're gonna gloss over this shit. All right. So from there we go on to Luke Cage. Luke
Power
Cage
Man.
was yeah, I'm getting there. Where are we at?
He starts off as Power Man.
Go ahead, talk.
Well, he starts off as Power Man, and let's just take a look at that. Definitely blaxploitation era character. Basically, not a fan of his costume. There was potential there, but again, blaxploitation. I mean, look at his costume. He looked like someone.
Yeah, boy.
It's like, wow. I mean, just look at that. Look at that. Allow me to do the snark.
Shut your mouth.
No, allow me to go ahead and throw snark in here, if I may. But he literally looks like someone just caught the flashiest dude on Soul Train and said, "Hey, let's make that a superhero." That's literally what it looks like. I mean,
those are fucking warship anchor chains around his waist.
Yes,
Christ.
Okay, now this is where I say it's a terrible costume idea, because yes, he's black and he has a broken chain. Yeah, his chain. His chains.
Yeah. Are those shackles on his wrists?
Without the chains.
Gangster.
Again, the whole blaxploitation, and now he's no longer called Power Man. Everybody calls him Luke Cage now, which is, he's so much more awesome as Luke Cage than he ever was as Power Man. Oh wow!
So check it out. Luke Cage, first appearance, Hero for Hire, #1, June 1972. He was the first black title character protagonist ever.
Really?
Yeah.
And then the Netflix series came out in 2015 of Jessica Jones. That was his first appearance. And then he went on to have his own show, Luke Cage, in 2016.
Great series, by the way.
Can y'all? I know this is a little off subject, but can y'all educate me to why the hell? Like, where were these folks when Thanos was fucking everybody up? Like, where was Jessica Jones and Luke Cage?
Right, they're chilling, man. They're like, hey, I ain't fucking with Thanos.
Were they too weak to show up? Where it's like,
like all of a sudden they're like, I'm just tucking my shit in. Like, what the fuck just happened? Y'all ain't gonna stop Debo, Jesus Christ.
Well, that
All right, man. Let's move on, man. We got
can't mess with Debo.
We got Falcon. Damn, I should have pulled up his shit. Falcon on there. All right, we got Falcon. I personally don't like the actor.
Me neither.
Like
I
Anthony
mean,
Mackie looks like a fucking praying mantis. Like he just is ugly as shit. But anyway, first appearance, Captain America, number 117, September 1969. From there, we saw his first appearance in the film Captain America: Winter Soldier in 2014, played by Anthony Mackie.
yep.
Anthony Mackie, you have enough money now. Fix that shit on your teeth.
I don't. First off, I'm trying to do research as we talk because my memory again. But wasn't there like a He-Man character that basically was the same premise?
Teddy said he could rock that outfit. All right, we'll go
He
with
could
that.
rock the outfit.
Yeah, not a huge fan of the Falcon.
Yeah, it's
No,
again
it's like a
blaxploitation
whack
character.
ass archangel.
Yeah, basically. Then
Anyway.
again, blaxploitation. The character's good. It's just when are they going to get him a good, costume designer? And when you look at the film, the first question ran through my head. Yes, I get they're trying to be loyal to the subject matter, but give the man a helmet or something, man. Give the man a helmet,
Them
please,
goggles.
please give him a helmet.
Cover his face.
Well,
cover that man's face. At
Just a
least cover
helmet.
his mouth. Just give him like one of these masks.
Just give him a helmet.
Give him a grill.
He crashes.
Give him a fucking grill to cover that shit up. And
How is his head not pizza?
I don't know.
How can he breathe going as fast as he does flying around missiles?
We gotta move on, man.
You know,
we're already over an hour, my dude. God damn it. All right. Let me see here. We have War Machine. Not technically not a mutant superhero, but he is a hero. God damn it. First appearance was in Iron Man number 118, January 1979. From there, we would see him in Iron Man, the movie, 2008, played by Terrence Howard, but only as James Rhodes.
Yes.
He then, in Iron Man 2, reappears 2010, played by Don Cheadle, where he is actually the War Machine.
Mm-hmm. Don Cheadle.
That's my dog, man. All right, so let's move on, man. We have Cyborg. Teddy, if you're there, maybe you could comment on this because I am not a DC guy. But Cyborg is from the DC universe. Cool character. Don't know much about him. First appearance, DC Comics presents number 26, October 1980.
He was he is an 80s character. When the whole cyberpunk genre caught on. Okay. And so they just happened to make him black. And he played a minor backup role. He was in some of the Justice League animated stuff. But his character really took off with the whole Teen Titans thing.
Yeah, hey.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Listen, Teen Titans, the fucking the cartoon.
Yeah.
I would watch that with my son. I recommend it, dude. That shit is hilarious. Like fucking hilarious.
Teen Titans Go.
Let the kid in you out and watch it because it's so fucking funny, dude. That shit always has me cracking up.
They had the Teen Titans movie.
He is a Teen Titan.
Teen Titan, yeah. They had the Teen Titan movie. Where Robin is kind of ticked off that Aquaman has a movie and he hasn't had one yet. And he works for Batman.
To that point, a guy that didn't make the list, but I think maybe is worth just honorable mention because for a lot of folks, it was mainstream television. Y'all remember a character called Static Shock?
I'm about to go there.
Glad you brought it up. Sorry. So here goes. Okay, sorry, guys. I got him.
So in the 90s, we all remember in the 90s, hip hop was all the rage. 1993. 1993, for those who really want to mark a calendar today.
Golden Age.
Wu-Tang.
Wu-Tang.
Yeah, Wu-Tang came out in 1993, changed the hip hop game. So all of this is coming
Shout out to the Rat Nerds. By the way, next week Next Friday will be rap nerds.
Yes.
Yeah,
We will
so
definitely
check
be
that
talking
out.
on that.
And Wu-Tang is definitely on there.
Yeah, Wu-Tang. Yeah, I mean, just cream, yo. Yeah, so all that was coming up. So there was this there was in the 90s, you got this sudden resurgence of a black cultural renaissance. So for comic books, DC decided to bring up their own brand that was sort of separate, that would tell street level superheroes. It was called Milestone. And Milestone had, a bunch of different characters. There were all these different groups, but the two standouts were Static Shock, or Static, as they now call them, and Icon. If you've ever watched any of the Justice League or Young Justice, he's he's what appears to be like the Black Superman. But Icon, great character, great character.
Whew. Man, you almost got orange on that one. All right, let's move on, man.
That was good.
Yeah, very informative. Thank you. Let's move on here. Miles Morales.
Oh, Miles.
Now, look, I have to say something here, Josh. We're going to have to split custody. All right?
Fair enough. I mean, was he Dominican? Was he Puerto Rican? He was Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican.
His mom's Dominican, and his dad Dominican. Is black.
Oh. So he's 75%
racially
black. He's 75% black.
Racially, he is black. Culturally, he is both. So we're going to take shared custody here.
Yes.
Okay. But
yeah, I mean,
for this episode, I yield to the black delegation.
Yeah.
I mean, Afro Latino is a thing, right? Afro Latina. It's all the thing.
Yeah, I'm going to give myself a meter really quick because I'm going on a tangent. That is the biggest misconception of Latinos, is that we are a race. We are not a race. We are a mixture of races all over the spectrum.
We're an ethnic group.
We are a culture. 100 years from now, 200 years from now, people will call us Americans, and it'll be just like Latinos, and you'll have to explain to them that you are black, but you are an American. That's the biggest frustration, in my opinion, with being Latino. Not my race; it's my culture.
Yeah, Latinos are an ethnic group. It's our culture. Go to Peru, you're gonna see a lot of Asians there.
Yeah, they're Asian. They have a Japanese president.
Yep.
If you go to Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Panama, Ecuador. Look at the Ecuadorian soccer team; it's black.
I was watching a documentary about Africans in the Western Hemisphere recently, and I was shocked that the small island of Cuba had more African slaves, double the number of African slaves that were actually imported to the United States, as we consider it. The small island of Cuba, right? So
yeah, man,
it's all over, man.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you see remnants of African culture within our culture. There was one day, I'm nerding out again, man. I was listening to like some MPT channel or something like that, and I wasn't watching it. It was this background noise while I was drawing, and I heard salsa music, and I was like, "What the fuck is salsa music on like Black History Month on MPT?" I look up. It's like, I'm making this shit up. I don't know what country, but let's say it was Kenyan. It was some like traditional Kenyan or Nigerian music. And I was like, get the fuck out of here, dude. And no bullshit. I went back and listened to a lot of songs. And there's No Le Pegue La Negra, which is Don't Hit the Black Girl, which is exactly the movie Django. Dude, there's like tons of stories about African history. And I start looking up like the artists, the singers, and dude, they're all black. I was like, holy shit. Like, I didn't know any of this.
Yeah, so, they did as I stated earlier, they're the black influence in Western culture is undeniable.
Yeah,
I
man.
mean, they've
Dude,
contributed mountains.
I went to a party one time, my homeboy's house. He's African. His parents are from Africa. And they were like, "Do you want to eat?" I said, "Yeah." I'll go up. They have like a little buffet thing. Dog, plátanos, fucking chifles, like dog, everything I grew up with. I was like, "What the fuck?" It just, I'm telling you, it's all brought over from Africa.
Yeah,
A lot, most of our culture is derived from Africa, like real shit.
yeah,
So shout out, man. Thanks for your recipes.
yep.
They're delicious. I grew up
Spice,
on.
spices.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Spices.
spices, dude.
Spices.
Always the spices. Oh
All
yeah.
right, man. Let's move on. We have let's see where we at. We already did Michonne. Oh man, we're fucking almost done. We are done. We hit
Yeah.
Michonne and we hit Nick Fury.
If I could hit a final comment,
Let's
again,
do it.
bring in Miles Morales, bringing that in. Yes, we're now starting to get Latin representation, Hispanic representation, however you want to call it, in comics. The biggest problem we have, and this is going back to the whole blaxploitation thing, is the culture, the ethnicity isn't the motif for the character. That's the biggest thing. I mean, we're not the first. They're not the first Latin superheroes, but for so many times, they would have a superhero called in Chupacabra, and
Yeah,
they throw in
yeah.
the Latin
I hate that shit.
motif on the. I hate that. It's
Well,
like,
I hate that
dude,
in movies too, man.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? It's like,
just
why can't it just be a Latin artist? You
yeah,
know what I mean? It's like, for instance, in the tattoo industry, right? This is something that always irritates me. Whenever there's an ad or something like that for a Latin artist, it's always like Chicano tattoo artist. Like nobody says that, like about white artist. You know what I mean? Nobody's like the Irish artist or some shit like that. It's,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just personally something that irritates me. Like I just want to see,
I can't just be
an
tattoo
actor who
artist.
happens to, and that's what I respect Disney for, man. You got what's his name, Pasquale or whatever.
Yeah.
I forget his name. You
Yeah,
got the other cat that was in Rogue One. Like we get it. We have eyeballs. Like I know he's Latino. You don't have to play that into the movie somehow,
yeah,
unless it's
yeah.
relevant. You know what I'm saying? Unless it's relevant. But anyway, I
Shout out
digress.
to Rogue One. Rogue One was excellent.
Oh
One
yeah,
of the best
Yeah,
Star
man.
Wars movies.
yeah, and
Agreed.
yeah, that's what you just
All right,
break
hold
away from
on.
the trilogy and just tell
Hold
good
on.
stories. That's
Hold
it.
on. Let's
Yep.
wrap this one up. We can keep talking, but we got to wrap it up. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I appreciate it. Comment, like, share, subscribe. Please share our group with other people. I would like to do this for a while because it's fucking fun. And I'll always post the link to join us here if you want to jump on as a guest. But we are on YouTube, so like, share, and subscribe. Once again, thank you, everybody. And adios. Sayonara.